All right, let's just jump right in. What if I told you that a single university, one with this incredibly complicated, almost contradictory past, is now basically at the controls of our global future? Seriously, it's this wild story where power, history, and tech all collide on one campus.
And it all kicks off with this paradox. A question that just doesn't seem to make any sense. How does the ghost of a fallen empire, a place literally built on the ruins of old imperial gardens,
end up becoming the one to build the world's future? That's the puzzle we're going to try and solve here. It's this incredible clash between a dynastic, ancient past and a supercharged technological destiny.
So, to really get our heads around that, we first have to look at what's happening right now, in 2026. This is where we meet what you could call the new royalty of the tech world, a university everyone calls the MIT of the East.
And listen, that nickname, it's not just hype. The stats speak for themselves. This year, Tsinghua is #1 in Asia for the fields that are literally defining our century. We're talking engineering and computer science. And it's a permanent fixture in the global top 15. This is the absolute premier league of academia.
To really understand what makes it tick, you have to look at its rival. Think of it this way. In China, you've got Peking University, which is legendary. It's seen as the soul of the nation, all about arts, philosophy, big ideas. But Tsinghua? Tsinghua is the engine room. It's not there to think about the past. It's there to build the future. It's all about STEM, efficiency, and getting things done.
And if you want to get a spot inside that engine room, well, good luck. From a pool of more than 10 million students taking this absolutely brutal national exam, only the top 1/100th of 1% makes it in. Just think about that. It's not just elite, it's statistically almost impossible. You're creating a student body that is unbelievably driven from the second they step on campus.
So you see this modern tech giant, and you figure it was always designed to be this way, right? But what if I told you this entire place was born from a moment of profound national humiliation? That its original blueprint is actually rooted in this shocking, unbelievable imperial history.
So the story starts on what used to be the Qing dynasty's imperial gardens. After this thing called the Boxer Rebellion back in 1901, China had to pay massive reparations to the US. But here's the twist. In 1911, the United States used part of that money to found Tsinghua, and its original job to prepare Chinese students to go study in America. The irony is just off the charts.
And this origin story isn't just some footnote in a history book. It is literally built into the architecture. The university's main auditorium is a direct copy of the rotunda at the University of Virginia. So right at the heart of this iconic Chinese institution, you have this physical monument to its very complicated and, let's be honest, subordinate early relationship with the West.
And that brings us to how the past and present merge, how that tangled history created an empire of engineers, this incredibly powerful network of alumni, often called the Tsinghua clique, that today runs both the government and the code that powers the modern world.
I mean, just look at the list of graduates. It's mind-blowing. You see this direct pipeline from the engineering school to the highest levels of power. China's current president, Xi Jinping, chemical engineering. His predecessor, Hu Jintao, hydraulic engineering. And on that same list, you've got the founders of today's billion-dollar AI giants like Moonshot AI. What that means is the exact same engineering mindset is shaping national policy and tech innovation. The whole country is being run like one giant engineering project.
Which makes you ask this really fascinating what if. I mean, what if that wasn't the case? What if China's last two leaders were, say, philosophy majors from Peking University instead of engineers from Tsinghua? Would the country's relentless, single-minded focus on tech and infrastructure even exist in the same way? It's a pretty powerful thing to think about.
And what kind of culture creates these people? Well, it's pretty much summed up by this one term, shui ba. It basically translates to study overlord, and it just perfectly captures the hyper-competitive, all-in academic pressure cooker on that campus. These aren't just students, they are academic gladiators, forged in this insane environment of expectation.
Okay, so let's flash forward again back to 2026 and see exactly how this university is using its unique history and culture to make a global power play. It's aiming to completely dominate the frontiers of tomorrow's tech. And this isn't just talk, it is happening right now. They are leading the national charge into quantum computing with their Deep Blue initiative. They're pushing the absolute limits in their autonomous robotics labs. And they're even building soft power,
creating programs like the Schwarzman Scholars, which is basically designed to be the Rhodes Scholarship of the East to pull the world's next generation of leaders onto their turf.
But the thing that ties it all together is this incredibly powerful campus motto, work for the motherland healthily for 50 years. That's not just a cute saying, it's an entire ethos. It's why physical fitness is mandatory, why you see thousands of students jogging every single night. It's about building personal endurance for a lifetime of service to the nation.
So, all of this leads us to the final, really important question. We've seen the history, the power, the ambition. So, what does it all mean for the rest of the world? Is this the blueprint for the future?
And that leaves us with this one last thought. We've seen how one single institution, with a very specific, engineering-driven culture and this profound sense of national mission, is shaping both global politics and technology. So the question you have to ask is, what happens when the entire world's future is engineered from a single blueprint?